In this video, I'm going to solve some question types that you will most probably see in your 8th grade math STAAR test. Let's get started. So I'm going to be using Desmos STAAR version. All right, guys, so a linear function is represented on the coordinate grid. What is the y-intercept of the graph of this function? So guys, let's be careful here. The question is the y-intercept. So the question is not the slope. So we are not using y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 here. We are using this when the question is slope or rate of change. So what we want to do right over here is, so there are 2 points. There are 2 intercepts, right? The first one is this one. This is y-intercept. And this point right over here is called the x-intercept. So the question is the y-intercept, that is this point right here. So it is the point where y-axis and the linear graph meet. So this point right here. So the answer to this problem is going to be F. All right, so let's look at the next problem. All right, guys. So the graph of a linear function is shown on the coordinate grid. What is the slope? So slope is the question in this case. So if the question is the slopes, you can go to your reference sheet and look at the formulas that you have there. So rate of change or slope, that's going to be y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So you can also use, guys, rise over run. So we are going to be doing both ways right here. So rise over run. Okay, so in order to use this, what we need to do is, let's write these points right here, 6, 1, and -6, -5. Okay, so now, so the first coordinate is always the x coordinate and the second coordinate is always y coordinate, right? In these 2 points, the first coordinate is always x and the second coordinate is always y. So if this is x1, so this should be y1. And if this is x2, this should be y2. So now we can use these values to find our slope. So y2 is equal to, so guys, what you're going to do here is you're going to draw a fraction bar, and then you put these minus signs. Okay, so these minuses come from this formula. And now let's put -2. So let me use another color here. Okay, what is y2? y2 is -5, right? So -5 minus, and then what is y1? y1 is 1. And then what is x2? x2 is -6. And x1 is 6. So let's use our calculator for this. So actually, -5 minus 1 is -6. And then -6 minus 6 is -12. And then negative divided by negative is positive, and 6 divided by 12 is, in the simplest form, that's going to be 1/2. Guys, of course, you can use your calculator for this problem. So what we're going to do is we are going to create a fraction, and then -5 minus 1. All right, so -5 minus 1, and then -6 minus 6. So this is going to be -6 minus 6. So guys, as you can see, the answer is 0.5 or 1/2. You can convert that into a fraction, which is the simplest form. The Desmos will give you the simplest form, or your TI inspired calculator will give you the simplest form. Or if you need the decimal form, you can also convert to decimal form. So 0.5 is the answer. So the question says in decimal form. So 0.5 is the answer. What we can also do is we can do rise over run. So if you start from this point, so we're going to rise first. So you want to start from the bottom point. And then how many units do we rise up? And then we are going to go to the right hand side, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 units to the right. 6 units to the right. I'm sorry, 6 units upwards. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So this is going to be 12. 6 over 12, you can use your calculator and you can get 0.5. All right, guys. So let's go to the next question. Triangle PCV is shown on the coordinate grid. The coordinates of each vertex of the triangle are integers. So what is the slope of PV? Okay, so now, once again, let's use the same way. Let's do rise over run. We can also do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So as you can see, what is the slope of PV? So P is right here and V is right here. So let's do rise over run first. So 1, 2, 3, 4 units upwards, right? Rise is going to be 4. And then, guys, let's be careful here. We are going to the left side. So if your run is to the left, it's going to be -1. If your run is to the right, it's going to be positive. So this is going to be -4. So it says, okay, so it is -4. We can also find these coordinates. For example, P is 2, 4, right? P is 2, 4, and V is, right, so it is 3, 0. X is 3 and Y is 0. So guys, be careful. It is not 0, 3. It is 3, 0. Right, now let's use this formula. Okay, so let's write the x1 right here and y1. So if this is x1 and y1, this is going to be x2 and y2. So then we are going to subtract y2 minus y1. So what is y2? 0. What is y1? 4. Then we are subtracting these two. What is x2? 3. And then x1 is 2. And then we are subtracting. So 0 minus 4 is -4. 3 minus 2 is 1. -4 divided by 1 is -4. So we can also use our calculator. 0 minus 4, 3 minus 2. All right, guys. So 0 minus 4, 3 minus 2. So that's -4, as you can see. All right, let's see the next question. The table shows the linear relationship between the number of hours Francis worked, X, and the amount of money Francis earned, Y. So X represents the number of hours that he worked, right? So X are 1.25. I mean, the X values are 1.25, 3.75, and 5.5. And amount earned is Y. They're $1,750 and $5,250 and $77. Okay, so based on the table, how much did Francis earn per hour? So guys, if we are trying to find how much he earned per hour, that means we are actually trying to find the slope or rate of change. So it is rate of change because it is the amount of money that he earned per hour, right? So how do we find the rate of change? Or how do we find the slope? We are going to be using y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we can pick 2 points right here, 2 x values. For example, let's work on these 2 points, these 2 values. So the corresponding y values are going to be this one, y1, and this value, y2. x1, x2, y1, and y2. So guys, this is important. These 2 must be corresponding, and these 2 must be corresponding values. So now let's write our numbers. Let's plug in our numbers. So y2 is 52.50, and then y1 is 3.75, and then x2 is, okay, so we did a mistake here. We made a mistake here. That's a common mistake, and let's not do that, okay? All right, guys, so let's be careful. y2 minus y1. y2 is 52.50, and y1 is 17.50, right? 17.50. Okay, so x2, 3.75, and x1, 1.25. Okay. So let's use our calculator for this. 52.50. All right, 52. Okay, so first of all, let's create our fraction. So 52.50 minus 17.50. 17.50 divided by 3.75. 3.75 minus 1.25. 1.25. So guys, as you can see, the answer is 14. The calculator will always give us the simplest form, or you can also convert that into decimal using this, right? Right over here, we don't have that because the 14 is already in the simplest form. We don't need to convert that into a decimal. So $14 per hour is the answer. All right, next question. Which set of ordered pairs represent y as a function of x? Okay, so if we want to represent y as a function of x, then each x value must be assigned to exactly one y value, right? So let's write that here. Each x value must be paired with exactly one y value. So this is important, guys. Exactly one. So if any x value is paired with two y values, then it is not a function. Two or more, then it is not a function. So let's look at A. 0 is paired with 0.5, right? So I'm going to write the x values here. So as always, the first values are always x. The second values are the y values, right? These are the y values. So let me write the x values right here and y values right here. So we are going to pair them. So 0 is paired with 0.5. 2 is paired with 1.5. Negative 5.5 is paired with 5. And negative 5.5. So we already have negative 5.5 here. We are not going to write that twice. It's also paired with negative 6, right? So guys, as you can see, one x value, this x value is paired with two different y values. So our definition tells us that each x value must be paired with exactly one y value. So that's why A is not a function. Okay, now let's work on B. So let me erase these. So guys, so when we have set of ordered pairs, we can only check the x values. If we see any x value repeated, then it is not a function. If all the x values are different, then it's a function. Because for example, here, negative 5.5 is repeated. So this is not a function. Let's look at this. 5, 3, negative 9.2, and 9.2. So these are all different x values. So each x value is paired with exactly one y value. Okay, guys. So this may confuse you. As you can see, 5 is paired with negative 7. And 3 is also paired with negative 7. But guys, it's not a problem. Two different x values may be paired with the same y value. It is not a problem. The problem here is if an x value is paired with two different y values, then it is not a function. All right, so all these values are different, as you can see. So this is our answer. So let's look at these. 7.3 and 7.3. And 7.3 is repeated, so this cannot be a function. 8.1, 9.1, 10.1, and 9.1. So 9.1 is repeated, so this cannot be a function. So guys, I usually use this method while I solve these questions. So the inputs, the x values are always the people, and the y values are the birthdays. I mean, days of the week. So guys, as you can see, in option A, for example, let's work on option A. Negative 5.5 is paired with 5 and negative 6. So if this is a person, and if these two are two different days, then it means this person was born on two different days. So is that possible? It is not possible, right? It doesn't make sense. So if it doesn't make sense, it is not function. But in B, in option B, as you can see, two people was born on the same day, and it is not a problem. It makes sense. Two people may be born on the same day. So guys, actually, as you can see, all these are negative 7s. I didn't realize that. So negative 9.2 is paired with negative 7. And also 9.2 is paired with negative 7. These four people was born on the same day. So these four people were born on the same day. It is not a problem. It makes sense. So B is a function here. Next problem. All right, so the question is, which graph represents y as a function of x? And if you have graphs, we are going to draw vertical lines. So whenever you draw vertical lines, on the same vertical line, if you see two intersection points, then it is not a function. So guys, you can draw millions of vertical lines here. You will always have one intersection point. So this is a function, actually. This is our answer. But let's look at the other graphs. So let's look at this. As you can see, guys, on this vertical line, we have 2 points. So this cannot be a function. So guys, if you draw this vertical line, as you can see, there are 2 points here. So this cannot be a function. And if you draw a vertical line on this, there are infinitely many number of intersection points, right? So this cannot be function. All right, next. Okay, so this is the same as the previous one. So we are going to check if x values are repeated or not. So if there is no x value repeated, then it is a function. So 0, -1, and -1. So as you can see, -1 is repeated. That means -1 is paired with 2, and -1 is also paired with -2. It means this person was born on 2 different days. So it doesn't make sense. It is not a function. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 3. These two numbers, 3 and 3, these values are repeated. I mean, 3 is repeated, so this cannot be a function. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. 0 is repeated several times. C cannot be a function. So we are checking the x values, okay, guys? So 0, -1, -2, -3, and -4. All the x values are different. So each x value is paired with exactly one y value. So it's a function. All right. Next problem. Which representation shows y as a function of x? So whenever we have graphs, then we are going to use vertical line test. Let's draw a vertical line here. So if you see 2 intersection points on the same vertical line, then it cannot be a function. And if you draw this vertical line, and we see these 2 intersection points on the same vertical line, this cannot be a function. All right, guys, let's look at these Venn diagrams. So as you can see, 22 is paired with 2 different y values. So this person was born on 2 different days. It doesn't make sense. This is not possible. This is not a function. So guys, as you can see, each x values are paired with different. It doesn't have to be different, but each x value is paired with exactly one y value. So -11 is only with 60. -14 is only with 47. -17 is only with 34. And -20 is only with 21. So this is a function. The answer is H. All right, the next problem. The table shows the diagonal length of TV screens at a store. And as you can see, these are the TV screens, W, X, Y, Z, and we have 12.25, square root of 12.25, 2 and 2 over 6, 37 divided by 144, square root of 144, and 8 divided by 3. So guys, if you're using Desmos, you can use SQRT to type square root. So let's start. We are going to convert all these into decimals, and then we are going to order them. We are trying to find the smallest one. So square root of 12.25. So I'm gonna delete these. Square root of 12.25. That's 3.5. So let's write that down here. 3.5. And 2 and 1 over 6. Okay, guys. So we have to be careful here. Your calculator will not convert 2 and 1 over 6 to a decimal. You cannot convert this to a decimal. If you try to convert this, if you try to type this in your graphing calculator, TI Inspire, then your calculator will multiply 2 by 1 over 6, and then you're going to get this. So guys, this is wrong. You cannot convert mixed fractions into decimals in your calculator. So what you need to do is you just convert the fraction part 2 over 6. So that's 0.1. 6 keeps going on forever. 0.1. So, okay, guys, if 1 over 6 is 0.1, 6 keeps going on, then if we have a 2 here, then we have a 2 here. So this is actually 2 and 1 over 6 is 2.1 2.166. So 2.166. So let's write, after decimal point, let's write three numbers. All right, so 37 divided by 144, square root of 144. 37 divided by square root of 144. Or 37 divided by square root of 144. That's 3.08. 3.08. 3 keeps going on forever. And then let's divide 8 by 3. All right, 8 divided by 3, that's 2.6 keeps going on. All right, 2.6 keeps going on. 2.6, 6, and 6. Okay, so we are trying to find the smallest. So is there any negative number here? There's no negative number. Okay, so that's going to be easy then. All right, so 2.1 and 2.6. These are 3 and 3. So that they're actually greater. 2.1 and 2.6. Which one is the smallest one? 2.1 is the smallest one, right? 2.1 is smaller than 2.6. So the original value is 2 and 1 over 6, which is x. X is the answer. G is the answer here. Next one. All right, so as you can see, we have two negative numbers here. So let's remember so let's actually order negative numbers first. Let's review how to order negative numbers. So for example, guys, on a number line, -1 is right here and -3 is right here. So on the number line, if a number is on the left, then it is smaller number. Or if a number is to the right of another number, then whichever number is to the right of the other number, then that number is actually greater. So guys, for example, 1 and 3. 3 is greater than 1. But if you make both these numbers negative, -3 and -1, then you have to flip this. So -3 is smaller than -1. Okay, so now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to convert all these values into decimals. All right, so let's convert all these into decimals. Square root of 38. All right, so, all right, let me delete these. SQRT, square root of 38. And then -6.35 is already a decimal. So this is -6.35 is already a decimal. So that -6.35. 63%. Okay, guys, 63%. So in your TI Inspire calculator, you can convert this into a decimal. However, here, 63%. So decimals will find 63% of any number. But we don't know what that is, okay? We don't know what 63% is. So actually, if you find 63% of 1, that's going to give you the answer, 0.63. This is 0.63. So 63% is 0. Okay, so let's align the 0.63. Also, what you can do is 63% means 63 divided by 100. So whenever you see percent, that means dividing by 100. So 0.63. You can just divide 63 by 100 in your calculator. 0.63. And then, okay, so let's write square root of 38, which is 6.164. 6.164. 6.16. Let's see if we need the third number here after the decimal point. All right, so the last one, -19 divided by 3. So -19 divided by 3. This is an improper fraction, so no problem. We can just convert this. If it's a mixed fraction, remember the previous question. That's negative 6.33. Negative 6.33. Negative 6.33. Okay, so let me read the question once again. From least to greatest. So what is the smallest here? First of all, among these two negative numbers, which one is smaller? So we know that 6.35 is greater than 6.33. So if you make them negative, then you have to flip this. Negative 6.33. So negative 6.35 is the smallest number here. Negative 6.35. So the answer is going to be A or C. And then let's find the greatest number, because this in the second order we have negative 19/3. Okay, let's find the greatest number. So 6.16 and 0.63. So obviously 6.16 is the greatest number, which is square root of 38. So as you can see, this is greatest, square root of 38. Then our answer is A. All right, so let's do another one. Okay. All right, guys. So let's remember 12 and 1/2. We cannot convert this into a decimal using our calculator. Actually, that's pretty easy, right? 1/2 is 0.5. 1/2 is 0.5, so that's going to be 12.5. By using your calculator, first you need to find 1/2 as a decimal. That's 0.5. That's 0.5, which is 0.5. So then you're going to put 12 in front of the decimal point. So this is 12.5. It's already in the decimal form, 0.9. So let's write two decimal numbers after the decimal point. Okay, so 12 and 2/5. 2/5. So 2/5 is 0.4. You can just use your calculator for this. 2 divided by 5 is 0.4. If that's 0.4, then 12 and 2/5 is going to be 12.4. So that's going to be 12.4 and 0. And this is 12.80. It's already a decimal. Which list shows the runners in order by their completion time from fastest to slowest? Okay, from fastest. Which one is the fastest here? The one that finishes earliest, right? So if we find the smallest number here, if we find the least number here, that's going to be the fastest. So Ellen is going to be the fastest because it is smallest. 12.0548. So 0 is smallest number here. So Ellen is the fastest, right? So the answer is going to be B or C. And then what is next, right? So 4 is smaller than 5 and 8. So Steve. So C is going to be the answer. Right, guys. So in this video, I have solved 3 types of questions that you will most probably see in your test, and that's going to be 5 or 6 questions in your test. Good luck.